So first 0-0 of the season. I don't always do this, Reese. My positives and my negatives as part of the reaction on the notes I do before. Positives, I just wrote two words this week, which was clean sheet. A lot of the reaction online to the game suggesting it was a bit split, to be honest, mate. Some people saying, right, that's it. That's definitely the end of Dawson. Get him out. Other people going, well, we didn't concede any goals. What you got to complain about? It's also the first time this season, Reece, that we haven't scored. So just obviously we've covered it a little bit, but just sort of what were your main takeaways from that game?
As you mentioned, mate, positives definitely a clean sheet. I think that was needed across the back five, regardless of whether Dawson stays in or not, or even if Fabianski continues. I thought Vlasic looked lively when he came on, which was good to see. It was just a dull game. You do have them over the season. Watching the first half, I thought they contained us well. We didn't really, we didn't get in too much. And I thought maybe then second half they might open up a little bit more, which would give us a chance to try and nick a winner. But a bit like the Palace game, where as much as we possibly could have nicked it, we certainly could have lost it as well. So these games. I remember when we played them last season. I think that was 0-0 as well, wasn't it, at St Mary's? I did hear one stat, and I do obviously like a stat watching the game Saturday, that their goalkeeper hadn't kept a clean sheet for, I think it was 17 games. So, with our, what it used to be like on a Sunday, wouldn't it? You'd look at the keeper and you'd be like, shoot on sight. So,
Yeah.
but we've had some fantastic results.
That was our keeper, though, to be fair.
Yeah, that was our keeper. We've had some fantastic results. So, them games will happen. I think every team will have games like that. And as we both said, a point on the road, to me, certainly pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And the other thing as well, I think it's important to remember, we could have thrown it away. At the end. They had a couple of chances. Declan Rice clears one off the line. Again, wheeling out the old cliches, but you do feel that those are the sort of games, all right, you look back and go, oh, that's a bit of a damp squib. But we have got something out of it, haven't we? We haven't gone into the game and come away from an away trip with less than we went with, which in seasons past, you could just see that last minute one where Declan scoops it off the line. There are plenty of seasons that those balls and plenty of games those have gone in, haven't they? And then, it's a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it? So although it might have been a bit drab, we haven't scored for the first time this season. I think with a point, you'll certainly take it. What the main takeaway really, Reece, and the headline of what was a dull game last on Match of the Day, of course, was Michail Antonio's red. Now, it's so easy to say, and I used to hammer the players when we were having that period where we threw away the most points from winning positions of any football team in history ever. I was forever just saying, it's just professionalism. Like, you should be able to hold on. Like, what is going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm inclined to feel the same way once you've had a yellow card and you're 2 minutes from the end of a game, which you're going to get a point from, and you damn well that you are the one and only centre forward the club's got, and because of that, probably the most important player in the entire squad. The second year, I mean, the first one was semi-brainless, but okay, he doesn't get booked a lot. The second one, I don't think there's an excuse for that, frankly.
No, it was, in my opinion, it was just a tired tackle. Whether or not he's made any contact, but referees will give yellow cards for that sort of tackle. We spoke about the Tottenham game.
His 4 foot in the air, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, but the first one is a bit of handbags. I don't know. Is he another one of them players that he's always got that in him where he's chasing ball down? He could be the split second late in any tackle, and he could get a straight red. Or so for me, it was just a very, very tired forwards tackle. And yeah, it could have cost us, but he's not going to be one that he was frustrated. He might have been frustrated with his performance. You don't know. So
well, it seemed that way, didn't it? It was quite a frustrating and frustrated afternoon for him, wasn't it? The first one was quite out of character, really. I thought it just like wrestled him to the ground.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit bizarre. I'm sort of a bit annoyed at the decision. Southampton, they made a point of it on Match of the Day afterwards as well. Fair play to them. They made a point. They decided that the way they were going to defend against West Ham was get in our faces, wasn't it? And they were tight all the time, and they were ruffling people up and making it hard for the centre forwards, as you'd sort of hope from your defenders, really. And I think that's sort of not really an approach that Antonio usually has much trouble with, is it? But yeah, he just seemed to be frustrated, didn't he, by the first one? 0-0, he hasn't scored. Service was limited. Moyes admitted after the game, didn't he, that the forward players just weren't clicking as they normally do. That's all very well, but I don't know. As your main striker, you earn big money. Part of those things is the professionalism, isn't it? And I think when you've got a yellow card and it's 2 minutes into the game, you've got Man United at the weekend. His experience as well, like he knows how football works. He knows how the season works, and it's just mindless, wasn't it? Poor touch from him in the first place anyway, but where it was and at that stage of the game, I don't know. I haven't really got too much room for bailing him out on this one.
I think he like any player would, but I think he'd be gutted because I think he'd want to play in that game Sunday. He's going to be obviously being on the telly. Ronaldo, first game on the telly, there'll be a lot of hype around the game, a bit like the Leicester game, for him to get top scorer for us, and how that's all turned out. So, I think he will be disappointed. You can't knock him for a lot of things, but I genuinely just think it was just a tired, sort of lazy tackle that didn't need to be done. And if he probably looks back on it and thinks, I didn't even need to dive in.
No, definitely didn't. No,
and
didn't need to do it at all. Just let them at the ball.
Yeah, especially nowadays where 9 times out of 10 they're given as a foul, and probably 7 out of 10 they're yellow cards.
Yeah, but mate, you said he didn't touch him. He only didn't touch him because the fella jumped out of the way, didn't he? Yeah, ultimately, if he'd stayed where he was, he would have wiped him out. But no, I'm with you. It's stupid annoying, and I do think it sort of gives us severely hampers us for that Man United game. It's obviously going to be a difficult game anyway, but the ability to stretch teams in behind is obviously not something we're going to have. He brings something quite unique, does Michail, so not having him for that United game is very annoying. Support for the We Are West Ham podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the men's below-the-waist champions of the world. Manscaped offer precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and they just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, all across Europe. Yep, you can join 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, who we've teamed up with to bring you 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code WeAreWestHam. That's all one word, We Are West Ham at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time, just like watching West Ham is your favorite time of the week. We're lucky enough to be one of the first to try the new 4.0, and it's fair to say we're blown away by its performance. It's a next-level product that really will change the way you approach your grooming routine. James, trimmers, shaving, keeping yourself nice and tidy down there. Any funny or embarrassing stories?
Nothing from me. I'm not saying I'm a pro or anything, but nothing from me. But a friend of mine has quite an embarrassing story, which I always think about. Always makes me giggle, particularly after a few beers when we go out a night out with him. But on a Magaluf lads' holiday about 10 years ago, he thought on his first night he'd give himself a little bit of a tidy up. And
as
went
you
all
do.
the way. As you do, yeah. But he first time he'd ever done it, so he wasn't, he didn't really know about the aftercare and everything that comes with it, and spent a good 24, 36 hours in agony because of the Magaluf heat and the sweating that comes with it naturally, and it was very uncomfortable for him. So he got absolutely no luck, which was his intention, and so we've laughed about it ever since. What about you, mate?
Yeah, to be honest, mate, I used to be a regular waxer, believe it or not. Just a little professional studio we had near my work in an old life. This was. I used to go and get it done in a salon, but it's an expensive way of doing it. It's like 40 quid a go every 6 weeks or whatever it was. And then so one day I thought, oh, I'll have a go at this at home. It's got to be cheaper. Bought all the strips, and I won't go into details, but it was very, very painful, and it was not a pretty sight afterwards either. So from then on, switched to trimmers, and it's been shavers all the way for me since then. Clean and tidy, no hassle, very, very similar effect. So yeah, to say not details, but it was not pretty. So yeah, trimmers all the way.
To be fair, mate, I never had you down as a waxer, if I'm honest. But yeah, I mean, you learn something new every day, didn't you? Manscaped have engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer to combat all those embarrassing stories once and for all by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin safe technology. And it also has a very impressive 4,000 LED spotlight, which I can show you right there.
Well, hey, have a look at that. Shaving in the dark.
Shaving in the dark, just in case you need to, for whatever reason. I wouldn't recommend it.
For the awkward dark spots.
Little dark spots. Again, if you've got any, it comes in handy. And that can be turned on and off when needed for a more precise shave. This thing literally does have everything. It even boasts wireless charging, additional guard links with sizes 1 to 4, and a multi-function on and off switch that can engage travel lock. So lads, if you need to up your game when it comes to tidying up your trophy cabinet, or if you've been shaving down below with the same trimmer you use for your face, now's the time to dip into the transfer market and bring in a superstar signing who will upgrade your look and feel instantly. West Ham have done just that this summer, so now it's your turn. So head over to manscaped.com for 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WeAreWestHam. That's all one word, WeAreWestHam. You wouldn't stick a goalkeeper up front if you're a manager, so why choose anything other than the right tools for the job when it comes to your grooming? Trust us, you won't regret it.
Annoying. Reese, on the new players, Nikola Vlasic, you've mentioned him briefly already. I was quite surprised, to be honest, that Kurt Zouma didn't start the game. So start with Zouma first of all. People saying, again, Dawson looks shaky, and although we did keep a clean sheet, that was more through fortune rather than like an outstanding display from Dawson. It seems to be, it's obviously a matter of when, not if, Dawson makes way in the team for Zouma. Were you surprised that Kurt Zouma didn't get a start after his move from Chelsea?
No, I wasn't. Mate, Jonesy was talking about it last week. I said I'd be surprised dropped. More fact that Zouma wouldn't have trained with a team. I know these things don't matter as a professor who we are, but I thought he would be on the bench. I thought he might have sort of come on. But my only thing with Dawson is he was a bit reckless in the second half with his passing and some of his positional play. So fully expect to see Zouma in Thursday and then sort of going forward.
No, really. So you reckon he'll whack him in for Zagreb, and then that'll be like his breaking in period?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been bought to be a. We need a bit of. It showed it on Saturday as well. With a little bit of pace up front can cause us all sorts of problems at the back. So yeah, I genuinely do. I mean, Dawson's got he's got a clean sheet, so he's got an argument to go up against about not being dropped. But I do think Zoom's in.
Yeah. Fair enough, mate. Well, we'll see what happens. It's quite stunned again. Another striker we were linked with, Adam Armstrong for Southampton. Shocked that he didn't score. Vlasic then, Reese. Come on in the second half. David Moyes said after the game he was hoping he would add something a little bit different. You mentioned already players looking tired. 4 games into the season. A little bit of international break, I guess, sort of plays a little bit of a part in that. What did you sort of make of Vlasic's contribution then when he come on?
Yeah, I thought he looked very lively, mate. I thought he looked very lively. He was getting into pockets, especially down the left-hand side. He looked very good on the ball. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what he can offer the side. I think obviously Antonio not playing this weekend, I think he will be chucked straight in, and I think it'll be, them four, Bowen, Fornals, Benrahma, and Vlasic, and on paper that's not a bad front four. So he knows that he's potentially going to have a chance. Hopefully, he does play him. And what I mean, what sort of better chance than against Man United at home?
So you reckon he'll do that straight in up front? I mean, because I think that's part of the reason he bought him. We've covered it a couple of weeks ago, I think. The fact that Nikola Vlasic is quite flexible. He's predominantly that number 10 as we know it. But he can and has played as that sort of out and out number 9 striker as well. So it makes sense to me. Lots of people are shouting for Bowen or Yarmolenko to play up there. Somewhat baffling to me. I'd whack him straight in, but that what you reckon Moyes will end up doing for both games?
No, I reckon just Sunday. I weren't so sure whether he would start him Thursday, but obviously being in his home nation, that does give it a bit more of an option that he may start. But certainly Sunday, I think he'll start, mate. I think he's going to have to, because he has been touted about as sort of a striker. I heard so many reports saying, I think even Saturday they mentioned it in the commentary about him being a striker, and it's like, well, he's not really a striker, is he? Let's be honest.
No, he's predominantly an attacking midfielder.
Yeah. So it just depends on how he seemed to link up straight away with the players, and for me, he did look very good.
Oh, good stuff, mate. It's exciting. Look, one thing I think it's fair to say, as always, after most games, do a little browse on social media and stuff. And I think, we've got a point which is valuable. The Antonio red card is annoying. Obviously, we didn't score. We kept a clean sheet as well. But the best thing, I think, to come out of the game is the new Pablo Fornal song that seems to have surfaced. A few videos of the fans watching Tottenham losing to Palace in the concourse and singing the Tottenham Get Battered song. But the Pablo Fornals, he eats paella, he drinks Estrella, he's going to Vienna. 1, 2, 3, 4. It should be unos, dos, tres, cuatro, really, shouldn't it? But no, I did like that coming out of the away end at Southampton on the weekend. But look, mate, you're totally right. Still unbeaten 4 games into the season. How many seasons past have we been able to say that? It's probably like the first or second time in 2 decades or whatever that we haven't lost a game in the first 4. 2 of them been wins, 8 points, 7th in the league. Be buzzing if you finish there at the end of the season. So decent enough. Fingers crossed we can get something at Man U at the weekend. That's us for reaction to probably the most boring game West Ham have played this season, but